Okay, let's talk more on the same topic. So this is video number 2 in the series and of nutrition, carbs, hunger, that kind of thing. Each one is just going to add and add and add more to your questions to ask and things to ponder and to look and research and be open to, right? So today I want you to think about what information is out there that you can look into about lowering your carb intake. Why would that be a good thing for you? Why are you even watching this, and why are you even interested in maybe becoming more fat adapted, running more on fat for fuel rather than carbs and sugar for fuel? And where can you look to find information on all of that? So that's number one, to open your mind up to researching and looking into options. Not saying you have to do any of it, but be open to looking at what you can shift and change and look into, and then try something, see how you feel, right? There's nothing wrong with cutting out processed foods and eating whole foods. I don't see how that could be a bad thing or unhealthy for you. Though there's a lot of other issues that we're going to get into later with food addiction and habits, right? That is a strong component here. I'm not being naive about it. I've suffered with all of that. So first off, just being open to looking. Last video, if you were in order, was talking more about how many carbs do you eat? What am I eating? Just to open your awareness a little bit and look and be real and have integrity on what you're fueling your body with and how you feel because of it. So now we're just adding on to that. So I said before, and I'm going to say it again, that every single disease, autoimmune, diabetes, heart disorders, depression, anxiety, cancers, any disease that you can throw out there is caused by inflammation and high insulin, which causes all spectrum into inflammation. So what causes inflammation? Sugar, stress, lack of sleep, eating the wrong things, those kinds of things. So look in your life and see, where am I eating too much sugar? And sugar, of course, we know is not only the junk food. Sugar is the carbs turn into sugar once you ingest them, whether it's rice, pasta, quinoa, beans, whatever it is, whole grains, oatmeal, fruit, turns to sugar once it's in your body. That causes inflammation. Again, not saying it's good, not saying it's bad. Just be aware of what you're putting in your mouth and why you feel the way you feel. If you feel awesome, awesome. If some days you don't, look at what you ate that morning or the day before. Hopefully you are journaling of some sort so you can look back and say, wow, I feel awesome. What did you eat yesterday? You feel like crap. What did you eat yesterday? There's also other things, of course, like if you're on medications, if you didn't sleep, that could be in your journal. Where are your thoughts taking you? Because if you're thinking negatively, of course, it's going to make you feel like crap. That's a whole other video. Right now we're talking about sugar, carbs, toxins, etc. think that feeling hungry all the time when you're, quote, on a diet, which I would like you to take out of your vocabulary forever. Once we get this all sorted out, you don't have to diet ever again. It's just your way of eating. Hunger and satiety. So no one wants to feel hungry all the time. And if you go on a diet of standard American food and what's Weight Watchers, then most likely 99.9% of the time you are going to be white knuckling it, depending on your willpower, and you're going to be hungry all the time. And then they expect you to be okay with that, and no wonder we can't stick to it. No wonder it sucks. No wonder we don't want to eat these cardboard rice cakes and lean meats and package of processed cookies for 100 calories of carbs that don't make us full at all. That's why we're eating every 2 hours, because we're hungry. No wonder we fall off the wagon, though there is no wagon. No wonder we make the choice to eat, binge, overeat, say screw it, because we're hungry. So, dealing with just hunger and satiety hormones, what can we put in our mouth to trigger satiety? That would be protein and fats. So the less carbs you eat, the more protein and fats you bring into your mouth and eat, you will see, don't just take my word for it, try it. You will see that, wow, I'm full, so eat to satiety. Never, ever, ever, I don't want you ever, ever to leave your meal hungry. That's not a thing. That's pointless. Why would you eat just, I just want this much of meat and this, and then, I'm still hungry, but I can't eat anymore because I'm on a diet. Does that seem fun? So many of us are doing that when you can just minimize the carbs, eat more protein and fat, then you eat to satiety, eat till you're full, eat till you're full, eat till you're full. Then you're going to be full, and you're going to be full longer than that 2-hour window because you're not stuffed on carbs, and you're going to find that you don't have to eat as often, so your body has time to digest the food. You're full. So then no longer the food is going to be on your brain as much, which is beautiful for those of you who struggle with food addiction or any sort of addiction around food. That would be me. It's gone. Almost gone, because you're not hungry anymore. You're not thinking while you're eating what your next meal is going to be, because you know you're not going to eat enough because you're on that diet. Diets comes to mind is Weight Watchers or groups or plans that are like Weight Watchers, which I find quite hilarious that they say, I know people that say, well, yeah, I go to Weight Watchers because it works. Does it work? If it worked, you wouldn't have to go back. Why do people have to be a lifetime member? I don't even know much about it, but I know the people that have gone to Weight Watchers, and then a few months later they go back, and then for the year after that they go back. If you have to go back, it's not working. Logic, right? It's not working. It's not working. Counting points and saying, I don't know if they do this anymore, but I know they did for a long time, saying veggies and fruit are free. Really? Carbs, especially high sugar fruit, is not free, ever, and I'm not demonizing fruit. But if you want to lose weight, and if you're on a carb cycle of ups and downs and ups and downs, fruit is not going to help you. It's not. That's a whole other video. Okay, so I'm on a tangent. If it was working, you wouldn't have to go back. So those of you who are contemplating Weight Watchers, I would think No. Contemplate something else. Contemplate videos, YouTube. I'm going to give you some resources again at the end of this. Listen to some of those podcasts on low carbs, not from just people, but from people that have experienced it, awesome, on YouTube, but also doctors that are using this way of eating to get their patients off of medications. They're describing medications rather than giving meds and then another med and then another med for the side effects that these meds are causing. How about getting off medications, taking care of ourselves with the right nutrition and less stress rather than medication, medication, medication. Again, if you're on medication and it's working for you, fabulous. I'm not saying no. I mean, many of us need to be on medications, but many more of us are on medications that we no longer need to be on if we can get our nutrition in order. Fact. So be open to that as well. Okay, what else did I want to talk about? Let's talk about fats and proteins. Many of us, mostly women, are afraid to eat saturated fats. Saturated fats are good for you. Just be open to hearing my words. Okay? Red meat is good for you. We need to eat more proteins and fats. They're the most nutrient-dense foods, proteins, meat, than any other food, period. So I want you to look into that as well. So, think of carbs. Think of how you feel after you eat a meal that's really full of carbs. Start logging and journaling. Are you hungry every 2 hours? Do you want to have to eat and be hangry every 2 hours? Right? The more steady we can get our insulin and blood sugars to be stable, the better for our health. Not only just weight loss, but weight loss, yes. But any disease, like I said before, has high insulin levels and high inflammation. So to look at that alone, though there's so many more things to look at, lowering our blood sugar and insulin and inflammation is done with food, less stress, getting sleep, and it doesn't have to be adding another hour to your sleep. If you can, yes, do it. But how about just looking at the quality of your sleep? How can you get better sleep than you are? How much time are you on social media? What are you doing before bed? Maybe you can cut that out. Who really realistically needs to watch 3 hours of TV a day? Or whatever the median is. I don't know what it is. So just opening your mind. Do you feel like you're constantly on a diet? Wouldn't it be awesome to never, ever, ever have to be on a diet again? Ever? If possible. Just changing your mindset alone to eating satiating foods, protein and fat. And then of course you can add some vegetables to that, but mostly upping your fat and upping your protein. I can guarantee most people, ladies the most, are not eating enough fat and are not eating enough protein. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. 99% of the people that I come in contact with are not, because we were told otherwise. Our doctors are telling us to eat less, exercise more, which is a bunch of bull, and it's just ridiculous. And it's about time we really look at that. Is that really working? If that was working when we initiated that, eat less, exercise more, which came to also the low-fat craze, which is a bunch of bull, then why are 88% of our population obese and metabolically sick? How come That alone, let's just stay on that, right? Our country, our world is obese and sick. So let's start reversing that. Something is wrong and something needs to change. So and if your doctor, if you know there's something wrong and you want to try low carb, but your doctor is against it because of blah, 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 then you need to go online and check out other resources, and maybe they can be open to what you're finding out to answer your questions. Or maybe you need to change doctors. That's a whole other thing too. So I want you to listen to some podcasts that are the two my favorite that are just amazing. They're all doctors. They're saying how we've been taught the wrong things. So I want you to go on to dietdoctor.com or Diet Doctor podcast. It's a cardiologist having doctors and patients on the podcast, and you can hear all about everything more than I'm saying. And also Low Carb MD podcast. It's amazing. Your mind will blow. If you already kind of are hearing about keto and hearing about carnivore and like interested at all about the health benefits and what's going on and is it healthy, those two podcasts will blow your mind. They're amazing. And you'll probably be very angry for what you've been told and what you've been taught once you kind of realize, I'm doing everything that the doctor's saying. I'm doing all this and I'm freaking starving and depressed and insane. Because we're not eating the right things. We're not being told the right things to eat. Okay, that was enough. So check out those podcasts. If you have any questions, reach out to me or reach out to somebody that is also saying the same things that I am. Lower the carbs. Look at what you're eating. Look at the thoughts of what you're telling yourself. Be open to something new. Be open to figuring it out. Okay. See you next time.